Welcome everyone to our YouTube channel Applied Forensic Science for Justice Student Group. This is Archana Kumari, Applied Forensic Science for Justice Student Group volunteer, present here the collection and preservation of physical evidences. Content. So the topic to be covered in this video are collection of blood or body fluid, collection of latent prints, collection of controlled dangerous substance, collection of clothing, collection of firearms, collection of volatile and hazardous material, collection of money and document. Let's begin with the collection of blood or body fluid. Appropriate safety manual will be followed when collecting, handling and transporting evidence containing or possibly containing human body fluids. Protective gloves will be worn, and depending on the nature of the evidence and the collection scene, protective clothing, face masks, eyewear, etc. will be worn. Fresh or wet blood will be collected either on sterile swabs or on sterile gauze and must be air dried before packaging. Wet swabs and gauze may be transported to HPD in a plastic container prior to air drying. After thoroughly drying, the item will be packed in brown wrapping paper, paper bags or similar packaging. Packaging will be marked, sealed and tagged or labeled. Multiple items must be packed individually to avoid contamination. When collecting dry blood, not on fabric, the entire object that contains the blood stain should be submitted whenever possible. When the blood stain is located on a wall, floor or either object that cannot be submitted, one of the following procedures should be utilized. First is when a large amount of stain material is present, the easiest technique is to scrape several large flakes into a plastic vial. Evidence container must be marked, sealed and tagged or labeled. Second is when the stain is small, collect the stain on 2 to 4 sterile cotton tip swabs. Moisten the swabs with sterile distilled water, then swab the blood stain. Allow to completely air dry before packaging in the swab carton. Label and mark the carton and package it in a manila envelope or paper bag. Dried blood stain do not require refrigeration. Mark, seal and label the envelope or bag. Next is other type of stains can be collected using the same procedures as previously described for wet and dry blood. Body tissue must be collected and placed in a sterile vial in sterile distilled water. The vial must be stoppered, sealed, marked, labeled and placed in one of the temporary evidence refrigerators or given to the evidence custodian to be placed in the biohazard evidence room refrigerator. Next is any biohazardous material, example blood-soaked clothing, that need to be dried will be placed in a biohazard drying chamber. The biohazard drying chamber door must be secured. It is the responsibility of the officer placing evidence in the biohazard chamber to remove and package the evidence after drying. The biohazard chamber must be cleaned before and after each use. Evidence must be taken directly to the evidence custodian or placed in a temporary evidence locker once removed from the biohazard drying chamber. Next is collection of latent prints. Latent impression developed with fingerprint powder may be photographed on the original object. After being photographed, they should be lifted. The lifted print is to be placed on a latent fingerprint investigation card and the following information listed. First is complaint number, second is date and time processed, third is processed by print name and initial, fourth is location processed. Visible print subject to destruction during the course of processing should be first be photographed before extraordinary measures are taken to further develop and collect them. If an item contains latent fingerprints of potential evidentiary value but the processing employee does not believe he or she will be able to lift the print successfully, the item may be removed from the scene and submitted to the Western Maryland Regional Crime Laboratory for processing. When requesting a comparison of latent prints with fingerprint of a known suspect, the requesting officer will include ink fingered and palm prints and/or provide the appropriate local SID and FBI identification number if available of the suspect. When possible, collect exemplar sample from victim or other person who had access to the relevant item or area and submit the samples with the latent print evidence. Next is collection of controlled dangerous substances. All CDS evidence will be sealed in a tamper-proof evidence packaging. The evidence package or property tag will list all exhibits contained within. When hypodermic syringes are submitted as evidence, the submitting officer will package the needle syringe in a specialized syringe safety container. These containers are located in the evidence packaging locker in the Uniform Patrol Office or can be obtained from the Record Division. The container consists of a plastic cylinder with a styrofoam bottom. The needle of the syringe is embedded into the styrofoam and the container is sealed before submission to the evidence room. Items which can be counted pills, capsules, individual baggies, marijuana, cigarettes, etc. will be counted before packaging and the exact number will be recorded on the property record and laboratory analysis request. The quantity will also be noted in the investigative report. Med Return Drug Collection Unit. This is a locked labeled box located in the HPD lobby to provide citizens a safe and secure method of disposing of unwanted prescription drug without the need of police intervention or a police report. Keys to the lock are kept by the Internal Affairs Administrator and the Special Service Captain. Periodically, the Internal Affairs Administrator will empty the box, complete a CDS deposition form, green card, and submit the collected item to the evidence function. Next is collection of clothing. Wet clothing collected as evidence should be dried in a biohazard drying chamber. If more than one piece of clothing is collected in conjunction with an incident, each piece of clothing will be marked, packaged, and tagged individually to prevent contamination. Wet clothing collected from different sources should be dried separately to prevent cross-contamination. Next is collection of firearms. All firearms submitted to the property room must be unloaded. All handguns submitted as evidence must be packaged in a protective gun box. Long arms submitted as evidence must be appropriately marked and/or tagged. Long arm must be packed in a protective gun box in case where a laboratory examination is requested. Ammunition, magazines, and/or accessories present with firearm evidence should be packed separately. Separately packed ammunition and magazines associated with a particular firearm should be placed inside the gun box with firearm. Officer seizing firearm shall complete a firearm return receipt policy form and leave it with the person or at the place where the firearms were seized. The form will include information describing the firearm, the identity of the officer and the person from whom it was received from, and the HPD complaint incident number. Completion of this form is not required in the service of a search warrant intended to recover the firearms as evidence which already involves or requires the provision of a search inventory. In case where the firearm is simply found by an officer or person who is not the owner, or in the event that a firearm is seized as evidence relative to an individual who is carrying or possessing it in violation of the law. Next is collection of volatile hazardous material. Volatile fluid of evidentiary value will be stored in the evidence room in a metal container. An examination of one pin will be stored. Excess volatile fluid will be disposed of in accordance with EPA and Fire Department procedure for hazardous waste material. Fireworks, road flares, fuses or ammunition less than .50 caliber may be submitted. All other explosives will be considered unsafe. Such material will be photographed and safely disposed of according to applicable local, state and federal law. Other hazardous materials such as chemical, nuclear material or other unsafe matter will be photographed and disposed of according to applicable local, state and federal law. No explosive, dangerous chemicals, nuclear material or ammunition greater than .50 caliber will be submitted to the evidence room. The on-duty shift supervisor will make contact with the fire department, hazardous material team, fire marshal's office or other specialized agency when such material is recovered. All such items are to be photographed and disposed of according to procedures in the codified ordinance. Handling of the item will be accomplished by requesting the specialized agency at the scene. Last is collection of money and documents. Documents that are wet will be handled in the same manner as wet clothing. An accurate count of money is the responsibility of the submitting officer. Depending on the situation, the submitting officer should consider having second HPD or other law enforcement employee assist to ensure an accurate count. Thank you for watching the video. For more such informative videos, subscribe our channel and don't forget to click on the bell icon so that you don't miss our upcoming videos.